Yeah, AOI loves to take a jab at his teammates a little bit once in a while, but you know, if anything, it has been indicative of this tournament. It's that, you know, the games just go late in general, and there are certain teams that thrive in that environment. I don't think it's any surprise that a team such as Falcons, Tidebound, as well as, of course, Extreme Gaming have been looking hot as well. A lot of exchanging here. Amar.
In a lot of trouble. That's first blood already for Shiro and the Tidebound side. Great start for them.
Probably wasn't expecting the starting tri-lane here with the Muerta beginning in the top lane, and it pays off for starters. One of the benefits to offlane Timbersaw, of course, he is a lot more independent than many offlaners are. You give him a couple of levels, you can move around the map, and even on level 1 against a lane like Gyro Pugna, you don't have too much to be scared of, so yeah, that was a very successful start for them. And a hero that you and we've seen completely take over games is the Marcy. There are just situations where you feel like this is unbelievably broken. And other games it kind of looks meh. So if I could choose any hero for either team to get a good start in this game, that's the most impactful, and it would probably be that.
Yeah, I think she's the main reason that we are seeing Helm of the Dominator brought back as a mainstay at this tournament. Obviously can rebound off of it. Terrific at gaining a lot of farm, which Marcy can sometimes have trouble with before that first farming item comes to be. But as we look at the mid lane, Malrine is playing the Beastmaster versus Nothing to Say's Earthshaker. Good old melee versus melee matchup.
Yeah, it's one of those that you on paper would feel should just be a good lane for Shaker, but as of modern Dota, if you will, Beastmaster actually fares quite well here. I want to say it's a skill-based matchup, or if both players play their best, I would say it's kind of close, but I've seen Beastmaster win that lane, I've seen Shaker win it. So not a clear-cut one, unlike many of the other very one-sided mid lanes we've seen have been like Queen of Pain or Shadow Fiends against melee heroes. This one, I don't know, it's probably like a 55-45, pretty close.
Well, we'll hold you to that. You've been wrong on pretty much everything at this tournament so far.
Yeah, we did predictions together. We got 1 out of 16. Did anyone in the crowd do worse than that? Yep.
No, apparently
that's right.
not.
We win. Woohoo!
Damn, we're good. That's why we get paid the big bucks.
Ironically, the one team we got right is in this series. That is Falcons.
That is true.
That we picked to make it out of elimination round. Everything else was wrong.
At the very least, the games have been ultra entertaining, so you can't really complain too much. I mean, even the Helm of the Dominator, people are talking about this item being picked up literally every game on multiple heroes. I think it's an exciting item, actually. Feels like it ramps up a lot of people's farm. It does make high ground a little bit harder because both teams are more farmed, and high grounding is a little bit easier as a result, but I think it's been some excellent quality games overall.
A lot of the time what Dominator does as well is it just forces the teams to take out the trash a lot, right? Like you always have to go and defend your waves because there's some pesky creep keeping you at bay, and naturally that will a lot of the time lead to stalled out games, which is a little bit ironic because if you think of Dominator historically, you think of a pushing item, right?
Yeah.
That's an item that you buy to 5-man, but a lot of the time in this tournament it's been used as a farming amplifier and just a split push tool. This game, not too many of those heroes though, right? Marcy will obviously get one. She's the #1 buyer of this item as far as how good it is, in my opinion. Mid Beastmaster has been a mixed bag. I don't think Malrine will buy it. According to AUI, he's incapable. So.
Yeah, we'll see. So far, Malrine sitting on 15-7 in that mid lane versus the 20-7 of Nothing to Say, so slight advantage for Tidebound so far. Now, in terms of, I mean, not to continue this conversation about Helm of the Dominator, but you talked about it time and time again this tournament, you need a hero that can kill those creeps. Yeah. Do you think Falcons have addressed that enough?
They're not the best, to be honest. I think Gyro is pretty good, but aside from that, their heroes do need to commit some time and effort to do it. So that definitely is a bit of an X factor. But Marcy will most of the time not use the Helm of the Dominator for split pushing, but rather play with it as a constant partner for rebound. So it's a little bit of a different nature with that particular hero running it. So I don't know how big of a concern that is. Did want to say, if you notice, a Bach or Faith Beyond is running a 1-1-2 build, which I would say is less common nowadays. He started 0-1-2. It goes to show that the mindset in this bottom lane for them is not to play aggressive. It's just he's meant to farm, and the more he frees up Muerta, the better. And the payoff in that is that Muerta has made a ton of stacks already. So Planet's been going to work here. On the flip side, Falcons with none.
Yep, as Y is taken out in the top. Amar going to take a little bit of damage in reciprocation, but he will get the better of the exchange, of course. I mean, that gyro versus the Timbersaw, that's an old school matchup where typically don't have carries that can deal with a Timbersaw, but gyro not too shabby.
Yeah, the classic ones. Gyro, Luna, of course, comes to mind. Just having ranged heroes that have magic damage, so you can pierce through the reactive armor. This ability has been rebalanced over the years, but there's still a subset of carries that just don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
The upside here for Faith Beyond is that by nature of laning 1v2 for the most part, he should get a fast 6. And at that point, perhaps you can threaten the gyro a little bit in the lane.
Now, well, the 6-minute power rune is upon us, and you can see that Falcons are quite pushed up, but Crit's actually spotted out and now glimpsed into the arms of Nothing to Say. He's not going to hit the enchant totem, the dead shot either, but still the kill will come for Nothing to Say. So Tidebound up 2-1. They're able to defend this tower.
Oh, this is important, Malrine.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is big.
I believe this was a
stack.
quad stack that Planet committed so much time and effort to making, and now all of it going to be stolen away in front of his eyes. So that was I was pointing this out. This is one of the big benefits of Timbersaw is that your 4 can do this, but then if the enemy team takes it, you're effectively stacking.
Well, who's sadder? Is it Timbersaw or Earthshaker? Because we saw earlier today with BZM, got his stacks mostly stolen. His game just never recovered.
I think in this game you should have given them to Shaker to accelerate the high-impact team fight maker that you have.
Level 6, Invis Rune, and Planet will be the recipient of the first roar of the game. And that's an easy kill for Falcons, as they're actually on the doorstep here of a Wisdom Shrine take as well.
This is a very
big get.
Play. Just perfect timing.
They get both.
A great play call at the right time. That is the biggest win of this game so far for the Falcons side. Getting both Wisdoms means that Morta and Disruptor are currently sitting on level 3, and Disruptor, Static Storm is pretty good this game. You're going to have to wait a long time for that. I think Pierce the Veil less important comparatively, but
I think if the game goes 60 minutes, doesn't really have to worry about that too much. As Shiro jumps right on top of Amar, back into the calling, so silenced up, trying to get to the north, to be able to cast anything. Finally, the arena comes out, but actually gets decrepified at the last moment. Do they have damage to finish him off? He's actually trying to miss it, as Shiro now the one in trouble. Skeeter and Crit have come to help out. No kills will come from this. Let's hear a cheer just in general. All right, well, that was underwhelming, I'll be honest.
It also didn't deserve more than that.
Staking under the tower, getting pursued by Faith Beyond. Looks like he'll eventually pick him up. Does take a beating in response, though, as after all of that, Skeeter actually gets picked off on the top lane.
Yeah, and I was going to point out, this whole top fight extending as long as it did was because of a rare missed dead shot from Planet. But in the follow-up fight, they do get an even bigger kill in the gyro.
Yep, Crit helped Malrine get the rune, but they are outnumbered. That's 4 versus 2. Using that haste rune to full effect to get to the north side. Has to be a little bit careful, though. Getting some bottles up, as Nothing to Say is going to continue the pursuit, but all for naught. We'll have to let the Beastmaster go, but still, great exchanges overall for Tidebound.
Yeah, Shiro starting to create some separation here. 3-0-0. He is up by about 600 gold over the opposing gyro. And now, with all of these moves being unsuccessful for Falcons, Faith Beyond is actually taking second here on the Timber.
Yep.
Considering the laning start that he had playing the 1v2 for the most part, this is a very good look for him. And Nothing to Say is, of course, going to be losing in that equation as the mid-shaker. They can't all have a good game at the same time, but they're stacks. So,
yep, finding stacks on the other side of the map this time. As Falcon's very aware of the triangle at this stage, and Crit's aware of this as well, so he's going to leech a little bit of XP as a result. I mean, at this early state, Tidebound obviously with just a 1K lead at the moment, but whose shoes would you rather be in right now?
I think overall the game plan of Tidebound is unfolding a little bit better, specifically because of the gyro move top failing and leading to a death for Skitter. But there's no real cause for concern for either side. I think all the cores are at least somewhat enabled. Shaker is a bit behind, but will find his way back into this more than likely. Falcons only having 2 kills minute 10 is maybe a little bit surprising, though, but they have taken mid-tower, which is a big objective, and surely top is on the menu sometime soon. Beastmaster loves to make this rotation, whether he has a Dominator or not.
Yep, Shiro found by Crit. Going to be able to take a Satyr for himself. Amar looking for an opening, but not going to follow through, it seems. First item will be the Blink Dagger, no big surprise. And looking at Shiro's farm right now, he of course has the Helm. I mean, do we see any variation on the Marcy builds these days?
I think every carry Marcy I've seen this tournament went Dom. But then after that, there is a little bit of variation. Sometimes you rush BKB. We've seen some people get one intermediary item. And after the BKB, I think there's a decent amount of room for creativity. Basher is classic, but you can see something like an Orchid in games where that is good. You can... Yeah, okay, that's not a lot of variety, is it? Daedalus sometimes, I guess, but it's not always the same.
Okay, well, Nothing to Say has a bit of a stack. Not the biggest we've seen, but this will be a nice, juicy Echo Slam for him. Didn't feel as good as I thought it would, if I'm being honest, but he'll get some nice farm at it nonetheless.
The sound plays a big role.
It really does.
It's just not really the same when you echo the Ancient King.
It's kind of an interesting thing that we've been seeing, though, because you can't really contest this if you're the other team, because if you get in the middle of this, it's just going to add to the echo.
Yeah.
But all you can really do is try to steal a farm beforehand, which they did quite nicely. Amar, though, the recipient of this gank from Tidebound, that is an easy kill for Faith Beyond. They even find a lowly Snake King, gets glimpsed out of the TP. Double kill for Bach.
All three of your cores are having at least moderately good games, so they can keep progressing toward their key items. Seeing Amar here with his Mars approach, he is going for the 2 Bracer Soul Rings, same as pretty much everyone else, but he's going Blink. You and I have cast some Marses of, for example, XXS, who bypassed Blink entirely until like 3rd or 4th item. Not the case here. Amar wants to play more aggressive and set up his teammates for Falcons. Malrine will actually break one of them.
Yeah.
They don't know where he is, though.
Now that's a very nice spot for Malrine.
Yeah,
that is a big
placement.
deal.
They will now try to perhaps invade, but if you're going to invade for the Wisdom now, you're running through the lane through full vision, so not going to be the case.
Yeah, they spot Nothing to Say. Now they jump on top of them instead. This is the follow-up, though. Snake King coming with a nice Nether Blast. They've already taken out Planet. Nothing to Say. Trickling away. The Mortimer's Kisses just hits them in the end. 2 kills for Falcons. Not only thwarting the initial smoke attempt from Tidebound, but
a nice move for Falcons. No real objective to claim just yet. We're 15 minutes in, but they keep ramping up.
And Amar, he wants some revenge. They get the glimpse back into the Static Storm. He's pretty tanky. Doesn't look like reinforcements are coming, though. So will be a kill going the way of Tidebound.
Matter of fact, to just buy a value ring. But wanted it for the laning.
Now you could turn it into a Crimson later if you really want to, and against the Gyrocopter, not too bad, but maybe not the most traditional item for a Timber Saw.
Yeah, the more traditional one would be Lotus. Playing against Roar, it's kind of nice.
Smoke revealed. Shiro leading the charge as Crit gets to the high ground, and he's going to get glimpsed back into the arms of Bach and just gets deleted. The Roar counteraction from Malrine. Do they have the damage to cut through Shiro? He popped the BKB and dies instantly. First BKB of the game for him. Amar, though, stuck all alone. He's going to get bursted by Bach as it looks like Tidebound now on the retreat. The buyback came out from Crit in the meantime. So this is now a 4 versus 3 situation. That's a lot of damage from the Chakram from Bach, and he takes out Snake King easily. Now Malrine on the run. This is such a back and forth affair. Gets slowed to a crawl. Nothing to Say with the Enchant Totem. As Bach, again, up front and personal. The cookie's not going to hit, but the last proc from Planet is enough to kill off Malrine. So despite losing their carry pretty much instantly, Tidebound able to bounce back quite a bit.
Honestly, that kill on the Pugna was just a beautiful sequencing of skills from Tidebound in that. And yeah, this was in spite of Shiro barely getting to play his hero in that fight. It was a really nice shot call from Malrine to go for the Roar and the burst on there.
We have smokes on both sides because Tormentor has woken up.
That's right.
But it looks like this will be Falcons to take. Question is, can they withstand a fight afterwards? Amar gets the shard. And you can see Tidebound still continuing on. The heals are coming. Planet's going to show himself first with the dead shot. Can Falcons retreat, or do they actually want to fight? Amar gets off the rebuke. Instant pierce the veil, though, into the Mortimers. That's an easy kill for Snake King. There's a Mars Arena onto 2. Shiro with the BKB. Looks like they might want to retreat, though, as the Disruptor's picked off. So Falcons holding that high ground is now the roar on top of Shiro. This would be an enormous kill for Amar and company. Beautiful spear into the trees. They got the stun lock. They got the kill on Shiro. 3 dead as Bach tried to save his carry. Now he has to retreat in shame. Has to nightfall away with the BKB TP. So 3 dead. They lose the shard as well. Falcons coming out way on top.
Honestly, I'm a bit surprised that Tidebound went for that. They might have felt like, okay, they just took the Tormentor, they're going to be low, but Falcons were set up so much better, and Mars is just a godly hero in that area when you have the vision.
Oh, look at this, Tidebound. They're going to continue to get aggressive despite this BKB still being down for Shiro. Echo Slam right on top of the gyro. Gets feared back. Do they have the damage? It's going to be close, and finally Shiro coming in to finish the job. All 5 members of Tidebound here to watch Skeeter die.
The best hero they can kill. Gyro was...
And this opens up the Roche.
Yeah, and Gyro was close to BKB, so this is such a nice snipe for them to get at this exact moment. The Roche is the icing on the cake, and the reason that they went for it to begin with is if they find a meaningful pick, they know they can turn it into this. So you lost the Tormentor, but you got the Roche and the carry kill. If there hadn't been a fight up top, I would say clear advantage Tidebound overall in this exchange, but of course they did lose quite a bit in the top left corner prior to this. Now Shiro with the Aegis.
Indeed.
Glimpse.
Thinking, glimpse back, and will die eventually.
Well, he's pretty tanky.
He will die eventually, surely. Gets Cookie to the high ground. Now the roar on top of Faith Beyond with Amar. Nice zoning ult. They're going to get 2 kills on likelihood. Wide's going to stay alive a little longer with the execution, but the rebuke at the last moment takes out the Timber. That's 3 dead now. These fights make no sense. One team gets an objective, easily wins the fight.
It's kind of close, really. Disruptor Ags is a true wild card in the late game. That's a concern you have to deal with against the side of Tidebound. Planet, of course, can start scaling. His Muerta is currently going Atos into Ags, which is very standard on position 4. Once you get Octarine, as well as a full Gleipnir, this hero becomes a true late-game menace. No, we're going to get there.
Falcons sure can't end games. That's something we've learned at this tournament, no doubt about it.
So far, they've not been in a position to, so, in this one. In the tournament, can't speak for all games, but...
True. 30 seconds on Aegis. Shiro and company look like they want to make a move potentially.
They gank some boars. They kill one of them.
So looks like Lincoln's is going to be the next item for Shiro. He's been getting roared a little bit too often.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Does feel like a requirement this game.
And he's also chosen a vast serrated Shiv, so he does have a little more attack range. It's clear that the mind's out that. Trying for the smoke.
And why? Ooh,
oh, Amar with a miss.
Yeah. Thought somebody was there. Not the case. We'll retreat now.
Yeah, now it gets awkward when you've... It's actually an interesting item on carry as well when you go for the other facet. Now he has Supernatural, or rather he has Dance.
Amar caught off guard, gets glimpsed back into the arms of Shiro, gets decrepified though, it's going to save him a bit. That's a huge kill out to Shiro out of nowhere. Didn't bother with the BKB and suffers the consequences.
Uh-oh. That looked kind of promising.
To be fair, he's been dying in BKB every time, so he's like, what if I don't hit it this time?
Intermediary way of getting that mana that he needs for the refresher. He uses it for the extra cast range on Spear, of course, and the cast range on Arena should not be underestimated. It gives you some nice additional plays with Blink spearing into Arena being easier to pull off.
Oh, Planet forces the issue from Amari, gets off his ult, going to force the BKB out of Shiro. There's the roar from the other side on Mallory. Do they have the damage this time to cut through Shiro? It's going to be close. He's really low, dies inside of his own rebound. Another death for the carry of Tidebound as Bach with that Aghanim Scepter. Boom, boom time. Gets off. Oh, the Yules actually activates because the BKB ended early, and now the Rocket Barrage upon him. Static Storm to try to save their offlaner. It is not happening for Tidebound. And now Y on the retreat. He's holding a gem. This would be a pretty big kill for Falcons. Looks like he will be able to walk away, but still Falcons super.
So whenever Shiro is caught, you can't just protect him. They haven't itemized defensively either. The Muerta having Atos Ags and the Disruptor going for Blink. There's no Solar Crest, there's no Glimmer Cape. Just no mitigation to be found anywhere for Shiro's. Beast and Mars have leveled up massively. If Tidebound were struggling to deal with the first round of BKBs, well, you're going to have a second problem now. Even more pressure onto Shiro. If you don't manage to get his physical damage input in the fight, I just don't think Falcon's lineup dies.
Well, Roche number 2 is underway. We'll see if this ends up being a free one for Falcons.
Yep. Not gonna roar this one, as it is. The first one went to Tidebound. And they'll probably put it on Malrine, I guess. Or, well, they both made an inventory slot. They were unsure, or maybe he was just freeing up the slot.
Yeah,
for the
I'm
gem.
sure they were having a very civilized discussion, and then Skeeter just takes it.
I mean, the fans want their money's worth in the audience. They want to be here all day. Go home at 2 a.m. Why? Hiding. Oh, if those axes were thrown the other... Oh, he's going to be spotted by the boars.
Yeah,
he is so dead.
Finds Y, and this is the gem. So he did hold on to it for a lot longer than I was expecting, but a nice pickup again for Falcons, getting pretty much everything they want on the map. Feels like he's just dying first every time.
A few thousand at most.
It's going to be one of the lower on the team.
Impressive. But yeah, speaking of that, I also haven't felt much Shaker impact. I just think Falcons have done such a good job at making it difficult for these two melee heroes to get in there up close and personal and actually land.
He's actually leading the team in hero damage. That's quite surprising.
That is surprising.
Barely.
That is...
We have Aegis for 2 minutes, so Roche banner placed. They want to, at the very least, poke. You can see Faith Beyond trying to aggro the crease, but the 2 siege units will still remain at the base. So this tower almost certainly going to fall. As Skeeter more than happy to throw away 1 life. Well, the fissure blocks them off. Actually pretty good with the Force Staff onto the other side. And now the barracks exposed for Falcons to take. And this is going to be the first range racks down in this series.
The thing is, this isn't a theoretically surprising play to go for this, because I think you're in a great spot to do it. We've just, like you said, if we go back 2 months, this would be the most obvious play.
Yeah.
That Falcons would do this. There's just been so many failed high ground attempts this tournament and so much stalling.
Oh, nothing to say.
But they're in firm control, and this is just a matter of time.
Looks like they'll give up the full lane as the siege units will finish the job. So Falcons, successful in their first endeavor.
Titanic now, so he's a tough target. Amar has
He is completely isolated.
He does have... He can combine his Eon Disc right now on Amar. So, fortunately, he didn't get greedy. I'm assuming he was offered greedy when he took Timeless Outworld Staff. Because this is indeed the type of game where Disruptor might be one of the single best supports in Dota to take greedy on, because you almost never attack anything. Even when you're farming, it's oftentimes you just throw a Thunder Strike on the wave and back off because you want to be hidden and be a threat on the map with Glimpse.
No, nothing to say is going to show. Malrine and company would love to get a pick off before this Roche spawns. Still has not come up yet, though.
Another attempt. Glimpse on Amar.
Out. Will not be KB away. Smoke. Oh, there's the Echo Slam. There's the opening under the gyrocopter. Going to be able to blow up Skeeter. He's dead. Just like that, as Malrine gets off another roar, but now this is in full retreat mode. They do have buyback on the gyrocopter if they want to use it. Fissure's going to connect onto the Pugna. Snaking, tankier than he looks, of course. Bach, his active scepter, does proc his crit with the Mortimer Skins. There's the Mars Arena from Amar himself. Lots of damage onto Shiro with the double spear to follow. Shiro's dead. Bach follows suit. No buybacks needed from the side of Falcons as they somehow turn this.
Even though Skeeter dies first, they have to commit so much for that, and Amar finds a beautiful That spear was...
Oh, the cancel of the TP. Y does get off another glimpse, but we can see the TP from Malrine. He wants a piece of this, and he'll get it.
That was the timing for Tidebound, right? And they kind of lost that, at least it was like...
It looked good at first.
A draw at best. And it is, of course, to pop a lot of stuff. They used multiple BKBs, they used Refresher on Shaker, Marcy used the majority of her ult. And when that BKB on Marcy runs out, she kind of seems to be getting kited a lot in this game. So might have to itemize to solve that problem. Currently thinking about Abyssal, that would help keep people in place.
This opens up Roche number 3 for Falcons.
Okay, they really want this speed. And yeah, don't blame them. They kind of need it. They have the Outpost. Okay, if the Outpost was not under Falcon's control, this could have got really interesting.
Skeeter trying to rush himself into the pit because he really wants that Aegis.
They'll get it.
They'll leave it for him. It takes a while to find it with all those items dropping to the ground, but Roche has been vanquished. 5 minutes of that Aegis now. And next up...
A banner again, though. This could be a big help.
They're not going to waste any time. Falcons right away.
Yep.
Wave getting cleared though, so no Roche banner placed yet. Skeeter already in half HP. We'll get healed via the Pugna, so not going to use the Roche banner until now. This tower looks to be dead. There is a fortification online for Tidebound. Flat cannon. As Amar jumps in very deep, gets off the arena. They're going to focus on the buildings for now, so maybe this is just... He's just going to die to the Mortimer, so Planet, no chance at all, as that's a second lane for Falcons. Glimpse back, Malraine's going to get Echo Slam with the Fissure to follow. He's going to get E-bladed, though, nothing to say. Does get the kill with the last Fissure. There's the buyback, though, as Skeeter disposed back into the Static Storm. Pops the BKB, healing up thanks to the Pugna and a little bit from the Satanic as well. And you can see Shiro left all alone. He's roared and killed. 90 seconds of no mercy as a cheese eaten up by Skeeter, and they're going to go for full megas, if not just the throne outright.
They didn't even get his Aegis there. They kill the Beastmaster. He has buyback. There's just so many lives to get through.
Yeah.
You have to commit so much to kill one core one time.
Yeah, this Pugna pick has been pretty valuable. Deadshot can make things a little bit more annoying. And Skeeter, all he wants to do is get to that top side of the map, but they keep blocking him. All of these obstacles, as there's the roar from Malraine right on top of Muerta. That is a death for Planet. No way to get back in the game. Second one reserved for Y. He buys back, though. This is going to be potentially the last defense for Tidebound in this game number 1. But it's going to be 5 versus 3, not including the Aegis, which still has a full 3 minutes.
Yeah, Skater just seems invincible. 5k HP and 30 armor and a Pugna. The Pugna life drain has been such a big deal. Tidebound would have been able to defend and stall out for so long against the carry, but all of their damage just get nullified.
And that is Mega Creeps.
This is a fast game for Falcons, Shannon. 46 minutes?
I still believe this will go 60 minutes some way, somehow. Bach gonna get speared into his own tier 4. Link actually does proc thanks to that primal roar. And you can see the gyrocopter not too worse for wear because the Pugna's still on the back line, healing him up. Not much Tidebound can do here as the tier 4 is about to drop to the deck. Amar getting harassed a bit. Muerta back in 30 seconds right now. Still a 5 versus 4 in favor of Falcons. Throne completely exposed now as Shiro going in for one last ditch effort. They're just gonna block off. Pugna still in range though, and this life drain, they just can't do anything about it. Amar, Arena, right on top of Bach. Now the magic damage coming from Skeeter with the right click as well. Bach is dead. Buys back instantly. There's roar number 1 for Marcy. Echo Slam a little bit too late as Shiro is already dead. And nothing to say, has to walk back in shame as a triple Arena from Amar as the GGs come out. Falcons take game number 1. Winner of this moves on to through the upper bracket, while the loser goes to the lower bracket. Cinderin, we're gonna see the last time we cast Faith Beyond on Centaur.
Oh yeah.
Now, to be fair, they did lose, but it was the most entertaining game that we got to cast.
Yeah.
With all of the carts, with refreshers. I know we were teasing this, or maybe some people don't enjoy it, I don't know, but the late game Dota between these two teams is something to truly behold, and I hope we get there this time.
And I believe the game you're referring to was one of the games against Extreme, where Extreme had offlane Undying.
Yeah.
That was insane. That was the most exciting, and I would say high-skill game that we got the pleasure of casting during the Swiss stage. Now, as Blink said in the interview, Falcons have done some very good adaptations, and that's obviously one of the concerns that you have as the teams coming out the winners or the highest scorers of those stages is the other teams get some time to figure out how they beat you. And this break that we've had in between the Swiss and the final stage here, Falcons have clearly prepared very much so targeted at this opponent, as they should. It's their first one. You've got plenty of time to figure that out. Will be interesting to see in the future days when you have less time how fast you will learn from the few games you get to see now from here on out. But yeah, the bans in particular really show a bigger adjustment. I would argue Falcons have made a much bigger adjustment against Tidebound than vice versa in the strategy. I'm not too surprised with what Falcons are getting to run in these games.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we were talking about this the other day, the fact that historically Chinese Dota has been extremely good at late game Dota, whereas kind of in the early stages they've been struggling as of recently, but feels like Falcons, if it does go late, they're no strangers to this type of gameplay anyway.
Yeah. I would love to see a late game between these two teams where nobody is really far ahead. I think the last game, the advantage for Falcons just became way too big at around 30, 35 minutes. If the game is close, the teams are going to be delivering at a very high level. So fingers crossed for that. Now, as far as the lineups go, I do think it's more likely this game that this one will be slower, actually. Effie brought up a good point on the panel about the tankiness of Falcons' cores if things go according to plan for them, but I don't necessarily think a mid-game portion for them will be that easy. However, it's also not going to be the easiest task for Tidebound to build a big lead. Because how will they find multiple successful fights where they come out far ahead against this lineup? Tough to see. You have disengage of Naga, you've got a Baden who's like the hardest carry in Dota to kill. At least one of them Bristle back off lane. Tall order.
Yep, very true. Abaddon has been extremely powerful in this tournament, and the last few months at the very least as a position 1. Nice pushback from Crit as he gets away from this potential death. See 3 members of Tidebound in the area, and that's the beauty of having the Nature's Prophet, which started out as the best hero of the patch. And where would you rate it now? Because, I mean, obviously it's always had this flex potential.
It's still up high. I think it's just a very high skill hero because, not specifically because of the spell casting, like casting spells with Prophet is very simple, but using its map presence correctly.
Yep, Amar taking a lot of raises, wants to get aggro though, pops the stick as Shiro now is the one he's pursuing, but this looks like it might be the death of Amar, but first Planet goes down. That is a huge deal, so first blood actually going to Falcons, but of course Shiro getting the kill onto the core. He's going to be at least a little bit satisfied with that.
Still, it's a 3v2 situation. That's a great result for Falcons in that exchange to get the first blood and just overall trading. Even if they didn't get the first kill, it's still quite good in the circumstances. But Amar is an absolute master at Bristleback. I think one of the things that sets him apart from most other Bristles, in my opinion, is his ability to... It's small moments like that, those snippets where you just watch how he turns his hero. It sounds so basic, but honestly, if you look at his gameplay on this hero against the majority of the field, even other like top 5 Bristleback players, I just think he's the absolute best at these high pressure moments where he is the target, at rotating around, getting as much mitigation as possible while still doing his output. A lot of the time, the best player in Bristle is literally standing still.
Yep,
like he did there. So pretty cool to see.
So what kind of build do you want to see from him this game then, with the lineup in mind?
I mean, currently he's eyeing up Blade Mail. I think that's a very good choice into Shadow Fiend and Puck. I think you just want to reflect a lot here. Aside from that, Sanj and Yasha seems fine. I think BKB should be on the menu at some point. Lotus Orb could also be very good, which, you know, when I list all of Bristleback's best items and I like all of them in the game, it probably means it's a pretty good pick for that game. So... not sure I have a favorite order, but I do think Lotus, Blade Mail, and BKB should all be in it at some point.
6-minute power rune. Malorine's going to be sprouted, and will be greeted with a shield rune activating right underneath him, so we'll be bottling that up. As he's going to get the burrow, just to harass Nothing to Say a bit, as he's sitting on 43-5 versus the 41-2 on the Puck, so extremely even in this mid lane. Is this what you would expect on a normal Puck versus Sand King?
Neutral camps well or whatever, but yeah, I'm not too surprised to see this overall result.
Is there going to be a play for the Wisdom Shrines this time? It doesn't. Well, as I say that, Malrine and Snake King are going to be greeted by Bach next to the tree line. Sand King tries to get off his ult, but it's instantly canceled. Coil is going to be expended. Malrine does not activate the ult as of yet. Tries to Burrow Strike out of the glimpse, but it's not happening. It's Nothing to Say. He's going to greet Snake King. Likely a death to his name is Skeeter. Now to 1 versus 2. Mallory's going to try to accompany him at the moment. Snake King, one more right click will do it for Nothing to Say. We'll be able to clip him with the Illusory Orb, but the bigger kill is onto Skeeter. Mallory, though, with the Epicenter, misses the Burrow Strike, but still gets the kill on the Centaur, and he takes the Shrine of Wisdom as well. So despite being outnumbered, Falcons getting the better of that.
Just like in game number 1, they get both Wisdoms minute 7.
I was not expecting them to actually be able to get it this time, though. I mean, the thing is, Tidebound was actually ready for that too.
Yeah, it's a pretty good showcase of some of the things the panel was talking about with damage issues, right? This support duo of Prophet Disruptor do not deal much.
I mean, that is pretty normal though. Got to get farm on Centaur.
Oh, of course. I'm not blaming his item build, or his skill build. I'm just saying you just don't have that much damage to kill the Sand King there. They kind of had to disengage when he got a Photic Shield on him, and he just pursues.
As Tidebound will find a nice nifty stack that Falcons have been working on. Of course, Falcons one of the more active stackers in Dota, and Shiro even coming in to clean it up. So very nice state there for Tidebound.
Yeah, that's a good steal.
We get to see the Centaur Helm of the Dominator. I believe he went that in the game that we cast as well.
I think
it does
so.
amplify his farm a decent amount, but this, with the 3 in return, like you said, this is going to be farm mode for Faith Beyond right now.
The funny thing is we've seen a lot of uncharacteristic traditionally heroes going for the Helm of the Dominator, right? But when you think about it, it actually makes a ton of sense on Centaur, because you get HP regen, which is what he really wants in lane. You get 6 armor. This hero has second to almost none, and therefore, if it is a patch for Dom, it just makes sense for Centaur to be the one to pick it up.
Makes sense thematically as well. With Stampede, you want more animals, aside from your teammates, of course, to be able to take part. Yep. Such a beautiful spell. Not going to bring it up, but since you did, I will.
No, I didn't bring up your ranking in the world. I just said you gained MMR.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
Malrine trying to defend this mid lane. Has that Sandstorm up, of course, with that facet that applies the blind when he attacks. Can be quite annoying to deal with. The fact that that works on towers is crazy, by the way. But it is interesting, because I can't think of another spell that works similarly like that. You can't stun a tower, can you? Or maybe there is actually a spell that can stun, technically. We'll have to think about that.
Off the top of
I'll give you the rest of the game to think of that one. Is Mask of Madness now online for Shiro? You can see the pressure being applied to this tier 1 as Shiro shows up with Planet as well. And it looks like this is going to be a nice pick-off for Tidebound. Will it turn into anything else, though? Malrine, he's going to be spotted. Glimpse back into the kinetic field. Nice pushback, going to slow them down a bit. Coil applied, but that's not going to really turn into much as the numbers have come from Falcons. Skeeter leading the way. Oh my goodness. Okay. Has not leveled his ult as of yet, so.
That's the end of it. Instead, they're letting them take the mid tower, and now Bach up top as well. Decently big wave with siege creep too.
Absolutely.
See if they do anything about this one.
Centaur left to his own devices can certainly push to a decent degree, especially with a helm on top of it. Not going to tank up the tower for now, as there's still a siege unit on it, so this looks like another tower for Tidebound, playing super fast in this game too.
Crit on Y, a little bit of poke here. The rotation from...
The 12-minute rune is bottom. It's a haste, as there's the stun onto nothing to say with the bushwhack to follow, and the sharpshooter is enough. Big kill for Falcons.
Yeah, good judgment call there. I thought the epicenter might have been necessary, but they do have enough in the tank. I don't think that was a very big overkill. It was good enough.
Glimpse onto Amar. I'm not sure why wants any of this smoke, though. He will now retreat, and Malrine will greet him. As Stampede is used, but I think he is dead anyway. Yeah, drops to the deck. So a Stampede down and another support. And another stolen shrine, potentially?
Oh, they might even get Shiro as a bonus.
Shiro, Epicenter's coming from him. He is not ready for this one. Bushwhack to follow Stampede, but the sharpshooter is enough again. Falcons get away with murder, and the trade is a measly support. Of course, no offense to Snake King, he actually gets off the song anyway. Even the Wrath of Nature's not enough. They use the Glimpse and the Static Storm as well, but the Illusory Orb is enough. They use everything to kill the support off as Skeeter shows up a little bit. You can see the potential from Tidebound's lineup.
He is queuing up Pipe on the Centaur, though.
Okay.
So this will be a much delayed blink. Of course, they can somewhat rely on Nothing to Say to set up plays, but it is nice to have a secondary option.
Ooh, close
Good
one.
glimpse.
Indeed.
We'll save Planet, but...
Oh, Sharp, this is a much bigger kill. Trying for the Requiem, but it's not happening. Skeeter gets the kill on Shoot.
Absolutely. It's... For once, it's actually important. The first 20 times I cast with you and you mentioned it, I didn't care. But this game, I do.
Yep. You can see, I can see the future. I have vision.
Yep. You accelerate to a large degree, so Skitter's on track here for a solid...
Stampede is not online this time, as Amar finds himself a half-man, half-horse, but why is in the vicinity? Oh, a big initiation with a coil on the 3. Static Storm to follow. Malrine comes in, though, with the Epi. Looks like Boxing is the first to fall. Planet trying to kill off somebody. He finally gets a support. Looks like he's going to die shortly after, though, as the song to try to reset. Shiro on the outskirts looking for the Requiem. Will get it off to get the fear. Decent timing. Ensnare applied to the puck at the moment, though. Nothing to say. He's found in the tree line. Burrow Strike applied. Still stuck in the trees. Can they find him? They ping him out. Finally, the Illusory Orb comes. It's a curveball, though, back into the fray. He'd be able to blink out, though. And it looks like the pursuit will finally come to an end. Is that... was all over the place.
Well, he did get out, but that first orb, I have no idea what happened. That might have been a mouse slip. Like, you would want to curveball that one back to your base or just throw it in a straight line, but he orbed forward. Fortunately, did manage to find a way to play himself out of that. Find that type of fight right now. And of course, if you do find yourself in the back foot, hang on, nothing to say.
Sharpshooter again. The glimpse back onto Snake King gives the space needed for Nothing to Say to retreat.
It is hard for Tidebound to land.
Radiant's top tower.
I mean, the fact that Pipe is being bought by Bach means that that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, it's far away.
That'll be like a 4th, 5th item for him if the game gets to that point. Malrine. He's going to be able to pop the epicenter, and that is way too easy onto Faith Beyond. And it looks like the rest of Tidebound might want to still fight.
Yep.
Glimpse onto Skeeter. Gets stunned up now, has the borrowed time, and the kinetic field not in time, so he is going to be able to shrug it off with the Aphotic Shield and the rest of Falcons nearby.
Understandably, Y is hesitant to just go in there against an Abaddon ult, but ends up being a little bit too slow, doesn't land the field, and this is probably just going to cost them the
Wait, are they contesting this? No, the Centaur taken out. They know this is happening, but indeed. Skeeter, of all the heroes, gets the shard. That's surprising. Talk about that in just a moment. Kinetic field with the Static Storm onto the Sand King, but there's no follow-up at all from Tidebound. They have to run away.
This is such a good shard to get for free on Core Abaddon.
Yeah, how did that even happen? He's 3rd in net worth on his team then, or he was at that point?
Well, Crit bought his own, so he was competing against Naga.
The shards a lot earlier than the average team. Probably one of the nerd stats from AUI 2000. One of his preferences, Skeeter. Under the tier 2 tower, Coil will snap thanks to the glimpse. Skeeter's ult is now down. Wrath of Nature coming for him. Does hit, but now the reinforcements have arrived. Burrow Strike from Malrine. Bushwhack not going to connect this time, but a Sharpshooter does. The Stampede does not give the distance needed. So another punish from Falcons as they now have a 5K lead. Regardless, Falcons now through the gate. As they have their sights set on Nothing to Say. Well, they don't have their sights yet, but they have an idea. He's up here. Burrow Strike finds him. Bushwhack to follow, and another Sharpshooter kill for Crit. Game 2.
This hero pairing is so good. So, Hoodwink plus Centaur, Hoodwink plus Sand King. You hit a Burrow Strike, you make sure you get the Boomerang in a Glimmer on Hoodwink. So, he hasn't amped anything else than buying the Boomerang. That's good enough. Now mid-tower finally for Falcons. 8,000 lead going to be on the board after this goes down. In game number 1, we could be looking at a similar end time of like 45 minutes where the heroes are just invincible.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to say, he's holding on to a lot of gold, but changing his mind, going for the Blink Dagger now in Centaur. We'll see if Tidebound want to get a little bit more aggressive now. As a result, Shiro actually pops the smoke. The dust on the other side, though. They know that he has the Shadow Blade. Don't have the vision required. They do find Y instead, though. Another Sharpshooter kill. Man, oh man.
Damage with the goo. They've got Curse of Avernus. This is nice and easy.
Nothing to say. Oh, he's going to get Epicenter. Burrow Strike as well. Crit in the vicinity. In addition, Hook Stop comes. It's going to be close, though. Nothing to say. Just able to get out. And again, this Roche is really all that Falcons care about, and they're going to secure it now officially.
They just have to pop so much in escape, right? If there's a Hoodwink ult there, the puck is 100%.
But that is definitely the case in this game too.
Wisdom again for side of
They
Falcons.
will take it. And on the other side, the sharpshooter makes it a little bit more difficult as Crit's going to continue to stand inside. Burrow strike a little bit too late, but at the very least, they will secure their own shrine as well. So 3.5 minutes on this Aegis. Are you surprised with the Aegis onto Amar?
Playing almost as the carry of the game. So they're going to send him in front, and he can create all the space in the world, knowing that he cannot die twice. So I don't mind it. I think it's good. He's level 18.
Yeah.
Shit, but Amar wants to get up close and personal.
The fortification comes out on this tier 2, and it's just a matter of time.
I wouldn't
time
mind
has
seeing
ended.
Falcons go high ground here. At least burn the Aegis and see how much they can get. They have Song of the Siren, Aegis, Abaddon. It's difficult to deal with them. Next damage item potentially currently going for Yules though, so that's not all that scary. You want Shadow King to get crit. You know, we want him to be able to kill these tanky boys, and so far doesn't really have it. Now the Tormentor for Falcons, so this is the upgraded Song of the Siren, much more healing. And also regenerates mana. Largely irrelevant in this game. But
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's percentage-based.
the healing is good, the mana regen is.
Oh, yeah, that part.
I don't think that.
But percentage-based healing when you have 3... I thought Heart was bad, though.
Well, 2 hearts is good, but you can't do it.
Okay, gotcha. Skeeter finds an opening, snaking with the ensnare. And this will be the death of Planet. Still working on that Axe, and yeah, it looks like Falcons are going to be...
Benefits. I just feel like the cart is what is... I can't believe I'm saying this in a cast. I feel like that is the potential difference maker in this game, where Shadow Fiend seems like he needs help being brought into good positions in the fights and dealing the damage, or if nothing else, you can use it as a save. The Crimson, you're delaying that a lot more. It's definitely not a bad choice, but I'm not sure it's the best. Anyway, might just get there regardless and get the cart. 4,000 gold shouldn't take 50 on all that long. Probably 5 or so minutes, maybe 6. But that will... Effectively, that will be after next Roche.
Yeah.
So that timing is unfortunate. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If they actually do connect, I believe in their lineup to now be able to kill some of the cores. But the connection is the big question mark. How do you get Shadow Fiend into position when you don't have the cart yet? Centaur can go for a blink stun, but you have counterplay for...
Enter the cart. Nothing can harm you any longer.
Yeah,
Now, of course, he needs a BKB to be able to use it properly, Cinderin. There's still ways to go, but the important thing is he has the cart now.
You and I thought the crowd at this event was going to be cheering for killed Dominator creeps, but it turns out it's the actual Centaur.
That's right.
Not the dominated one. The scepter in hand, the smoke, highly uneventful, just breaks and they're not really following up on it. But the standoff begins. Now this ward that they've placed above the Roche pit here for the side of Tidebound could be really powerful, but well, if the fight gets pulled away from there, it doesn't do very much exactly.
I really hope this cart does something, or else we really did a shitty cast.
I think either it's instrumental or it's completely irrelevant. One or the other. It needs a polarizing result here. It needs to not be okay.
I mean,
We want a big play,
yeah.
or we want it to be complete.
Yeah, Faith Beyond is no stranger to this, as we talked.
Another big item for him. We're talking about his inability to hit stuff. That'll help.
Yep, Roche. Belches in their face again.
Got 1 minute to do this before he is tired of being here.
That's true. If they can delay this. And Amar now Planet being pursued in his own base. Oh my goodness. Burrow strike sharpshooter, it's enough. Planet actually out for 50 seconds with no buyback, so this is actually a 4 versus 5. I don't know how. He did not feel safe in his own base, and I can see why now. But still, Falcons not. I love this current Roche, though.
Yeah. It's good.
And Tidebound on the high ground. You can see the illusions continually spotting them. As
Yeah, it's
Falcons
not
just
only the
daring
Naga.
them.
It's also the Abaddon Radiance.
Oh,
Man.
Stampede. Okay, Epicenter comes in from Mallory. Pops the BKB as well. As Bach looking for somebody to use on his cart. He's going to be applied some pressure. Pops the Blade Veil. Nobody really wants to touch him now, though. Gets rooted up onto the high ground. Nothing to say coming. They're trying to take out the Abaddon, but he activates his ult just in time and heals up to full as a result. There's the cart onto the Shadow Fiend. Being able to get on his ult. The Centaur dies first inside of his own cart. The Shadow Fiend follows suit, and just like that, it's 4 dead for Tidebound, and Falcons lose nothing.
Maybe they'll get one more chance, but it will be against a man advantage now. Aegis as well as Banner. Wonder who they'll put the Aegis on. Saw Skeeter take a lot of damage in that engagement, but obviously stay alive. It will be Amar again.
And TP in, so Falcons capitalize. Now they're up 24K with the Aegis advantage, and now pushing that bottom lane. Can Tidebound do anything to repel the forces of Falcons? This is going to be one lane for them extremely easily.
Not exactly a carbon copy of the previous game, but it's feeling really similar overall. Similar time for the overall high ground, going for the killing blow here at about 45 minutes. Executing the map better.
He gets broken, but just going to shrug it off. The second lane in the sights for Falcons. Oh, the hex onto the puck. The bushwhack to follow. The save! The cart saves the puck. Going to try to turn this around, but where is the damage coming from exactly? Nature's Prophet in the midst of all of this. Trying to TP out, but the Burrow Strike connects. Bushwhack to follow. That'll be the death of the NP. And again, 3.5 minutes on the Aegis. Falcons have plenty of resources to work with as Amar looks like he's going to finish off this second barracks very shortly. Another hex that the Burrow Strike actually misses, but they find the connection on the nothing to say. The Stampede is not enough. He is out for 90. No buyback. As Falcons now to the third lane to try to get Mega Creeps and close the door in this upper bracket match against Tidebound. And it's looking like it's going to be a 2-0.
What a stellar performance this game has been from Crit on the Hoodwink.
Lark gets off the Hood Stomp to try to break the Abaddon, but he already has his ult on as Amar just destroys Y. Cart onto the Shadow Fiend in retreat. They just call GG, and just like that, Falcons 2-0 Extreme in this upper bracket match.
And this individual game more so than the first, not even remotely close when you look back at it.